Okay, everybody, welcome back. This is episode number 2. We successfully completed episode number 1. Not sure if it's made its way out yet on your computers or televisions. We're working very hard to make sure that we've clipped out the audio where we are inappropriate. And we're eventually, guys, I think the goal of this, we probably want to bring on some guests that are well more educated beyond what we know about the industry.
For sure.
We're just shooting the shit.
Pretty much. But we have been in the industry for a while. This is more of like, startup, all that jazz, automotive. We just happen to kind of be in that sphere. But Duncan, you're with us today. You want to introduce yourself?
My name's Duncan McCall. I work at Rome with these gentlemen.
Awesome. Duncan wasn't in the first episode, but he is basically like the grandfather of the company.
Employee number like 3?
I think it was basically
probably realistically employee number 4 or 5.
Wow.
Sanchez and Ian were here before me.
4 or 5. Yeah. Not to toot my own horn.
They were like a week before me.
I remember I was watching online. There was it was Steve-O, and he does a video. And it's hilarious because they're posting all this stuff now on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's so funny to watch because they've all grown up. They're all like real sober adults now. Mm-hmm. They're like completely good for them. Majority of them got out of their phase. Mm-hmm. But he takes Tim Cook to the Apple store. And he buys a MacBook with Tim Cook, and the guy asks, "Can I use my employee discount?" And he's like, "What's your employee number?" Tim Cook says 1. the guy looks at him, and he's like, "No, I can't." Isn't that hilarious? That is like he undercover Boston in real life.
Yeah.
Take care, Abdi. Okay, so we have a few articles that we will be covering today.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, today's Abdi's birthday, which is awesome. He's going to go celebrate. He's working hard. So, alrighty, first things first, Zach, you're going to hit us with a very interesting article you found. This is not new news, but it's definitely worthy to talk about on this podcast. Yeah. So Hyundai is now going to be starting to sell vehicles on Amazon. Pretty sure they already have, but take the wheel on this.
Yeah, so they want to basically, you go on Amazon, choose a vehicle, and a local dealership you go pick it up at a local dealership.
Yep.
What I don't understand is, why did they just go to the local dealership? Or like kind of similar to like, I guess, some of these like Tesla or Polestar, for example.
Electronic ordering through the manufacturer website.
Through the manufacturer directly. Like, why do they need Amazon to kind of, market them more, I guess?
So,
right?
Okay, here's my uninformed take. I think one of the hardest challenges post-COVID that any manufacturer's experience is logistics, which is crazy. So, and you're in a portal for a manufacturer, you're like ordering cars, you plug in a bunch of orders, it spits out these like order numbers at you. You don't even have VINs yet because the cars aren't made.
Yeah. Then
it's like tracking those vehicles all the way through from production, shipping, all the different quagmires that they kind of sit in. There was so much that went missing. I don't know, this is my take on it. So much that went missing that completely hasn't even caught up these days anywhere across North America. Supply chain wise, nobody can even tell you. It's on rail, it's maybe not. Like nothing is speaking to each other. The one thing obviously we can agree Amazon's nailed is logistics.
Yeah.
So if that's the only thing that Hyundai gets out of it, they're going to be miles ahead of any other manufacturer. But
it looks like what they're saying, after a customer purchases a vehicle through Amazon, delivery or pickup will be handled by local dealerships. So
well, then never mind.
Yeah. So then, they're not even getting the benefit of, I guess, Amazon's like logistics. Yeah.
Imagine just like an Amazon truck just pulls up.
Yeah.
And I just rolls out the back of this truck
in a giant box.
Like so it's interesting. I don't know if you guys are following just surface level stuff with just everything going on with Apple right now and the App Store and the payment processing fees that they're tagging onto everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting to know that like if manufacturers want to go this route, I wonder just what Amazon's back end. It's just got to be data. Yeah. They probably have no skin in the game. They probably don't want anything. It's a partnership. But I think I don't know, if I was a betting man, I would just say logistically, there's a huge amount of resources maybe that they want to tap into with Amazon. It's kind of giving them the ability to be like, great, sell our cars, we'll pilot this with you. Because like, this is one of the hardest things. I don't know. There's probably harder things to ship. Sure, but these are big things.
Yeah.
So
also what you wonder what the shopping experience will be like, right? Because I imagine it will have to be customized to auto, right? Like buying a car is not the same as buying toilet paper, right?
Yeah.
So auto section.
Right. So, what does that digital retailing experience look like? I mean, Amazon's, going to be the company to figure it out, given that they've created such a great, e-commerce experience for other products, right? So
yeah, no kidding.
That side of it makes sense.
Totally. Well, and Zach, you know better than anybody. You tell me at Volvo, when you were working there, did Volvo have good, better, best in terms of trim? There's like 3 options everybody's just kind of melted into, except the North Americans are still going strong with packages at the wazoo.
Yeah. So they just kind of dumbed it down now, just 3 packages.
Yeah.
I think it's Core plus Ultimate.
Yeah.
And that's it.
There's nothing above Ultimate. That's it. That's the final
Ultimate,
boss.
and then literally like small, like
R-line stuff.
Yeah, like black wheels or something like that, right?
Yeah, just like, see, that was the biggest challenge with North American units, because especially when you get into trucks, there's no such thing as like a standard equipment option, because you have packages, you have rails, you have rims.
Yeah.
Like you have box lengths, you have door, cab versus crew versus double. Like, so I don't know. I feel like North American parts are designed to be as multi-purpose as possible, and by doing that, they create this envelope of problems. Weren't making way too many trims.
Like GM though, would you be able to like order stuff like from the parts kind of, they just install it when the truck comes kind of thing?
Yeah, like they call that LPO, and it's like accessories. I think the challenge is though, a lot of the stuff like you can't, like you can order wheels or like side steps or stuff after the fact on trucks, but a lot of the stuff is like you can't order, like you have to build the vehicle that way.
Yeah.
But we were talking about last week, so Duncan, we were talking about the Jeeps that now are kind of like reappearing in theme with these additions, right? Like Broncos are doing this in spirit, but like there's a bunch of fun additions. So I think it was like it wasn't Hot Wheels. What was it? It was the Beach Edition.
Beach Edition, yeah.
It was just like a color wave, pretty much. But like that's a popular thing. But I don't know, like going back to the whole Amazon article, like my take on it is like, if anybody's going to learn something out of it, it's logistics.
Yeah. I mean,
whole supply chain of everything.
I wonder what's going to happen with the dealerships, right? Like what are they getting out of this? Like a $500 fee or something like that. Like they're just basically doing a delivery.
Yeah.
Like is Hyundai going to dealership, say, I have an order for you, this customer's in your area.
Yeah.
We'll give you the deal kind of thing at a certain.
So that's the thing. Like the biggest challenge that I think these services going online, obviously the OEM starts to control the front end, the manufacturer, but it's the dealership who's making all the back end profit. Right. So it's like we give you the right of refusal to have that order, but you're making the money off of selling the warranties. But even that's like in the States, I know the big dealers like Paragon, Honda, Acura, Longo, Toyota, like the biggest Toyota and Honda franchises, they basically have one person do the sales and F&I process all the way through. And they just save money on salary and commission. It's kind of crazy for a better experience. So.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, basically lead gen and then down to the dealer.
Yeah.
Fulfill the order
and then just ship it.
Yeah.
Ship it. Get that thing out. But okay, so here's an interesting article. I was gonna talk about it, but the big thing with our business, a lot of people, I think the special thing about Rome, just to give it's a podcast by Rome. Special thing about what we do is we obviously have really finely curated vehicles. We go out of our way to order cars that people want to drive, and we know we're gonna have great resale value. But this is just a strategy of the company. Everybody wins, truthfully, because you buy better cars. If it's a higher resale, you get better residuals. You can offer better payments. Everybody actually comes flush out of the equation. But I think one of the things that was always one of those gotchas in retail sales, if the F&I manager did too good of a job selling insurance, too good of a job, that person was buried, that payment, the negative equity that they're running into that car.
Yeah, they're done.
They're done, right? And it affects the front end, the ability to trade up, which also from a manufacturer level, they lose so much control over keeping that customer in the next Hyundai. So I don't know, like maybe, again, nobody has cracked the nut totally on the warranty process. And I think that's probably the inception of like a lot of these digital retail tools that they wanted to nail really well, was selling the aftercare. We are part of the same business too, essentially. It's like, that's so important on a way of not just for our business, but like, that's where all the customers find they can customize, the exact plan or options or whatever to meet their needs. So maybe it's a play for that too, of figuring out the warranty. I don't know. That's that's really interesting. They're not talking about that at all. And that's a huge part of revenue for dealerships, and OEMs don't see any of that, which is super interesting.
Yeah. Selling all these additional products.
Right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them are not even like the OEM brand products. Like it's like Tire Guard or random company.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And the dealer gets a kickback from there.
Exactly.
Right? Like the only thing you probably get from Hyundai, for example, would be like maybe like a lease protection kind of thing.
Yeah, just
wear and tear or something like that.
But all the rims, scratch and dent stuff like that's aftermarket.
Aftermarket, rust proofing, aftermarket, all that stuff.
Yeah. And I wonder how much, based on the data that Amazon would have on kind of shopping behavior, how good they would be at figuring out what kind of vehicle you have without actually asking you what kind of vehicle you have.
What do you mean by that, Duncan?
Well, I just mean like, what kind of products are you shopping for So based on,
that's true.
You know, I don't know, you're getting floor mats for your car, right? Okay, so what kind of floor mats are they, and are they made for specific vehicles? Then I know you're driving, you know, a specific vehicle, right? So in other words, like the power of Amazon's like data and their ability to understand the consumer, what kind of car they're driving, and then make suggestions about what the next car might be.
So it's actually so funny you say that, because like to Zach's point, can't you just order at the parts counter? One of the most common things for North American dealers is exactly that. You buy the trucks on whatever spec, but then you buy the rims like separate and you install some of these things. So like, for example, you install the rails, you do the tonneau cover, right? And then you do lights sometimes, but it's like factory parts, but you just don't pay for these packages. So like some dealers have the ability to like do in North America to do these customizations. So it's so interesting. Yeah. Like, but again, like that's our favorite thing, you know, finger in the air. It's your parts manager. I've been doing this for 20 years. I know what people want.
Yeah.
Versus like Duncan's saying, Amazon is just like, well, we actually know what you want before you want it.
Yeah. Or even now that, okay, great. So you've purchased this vehicle and just putting all of the additional products right in front of you at that point in time, right? Like what's the conversion like when you bring the products as close as possible to the actual sale that's happening?
And man, you can always come back to it, right? Like it's almost like this weird walk of shame when a dealership, again, we love dealerships. We buy our cars from dealerships. Half of us are ex-automotive from dealerships. But like, it's always a walk of shame when you sell a car and you bring the customer to the service department and the parts department. It's so dependent on the sales rep. And sometimes somebody's just doing it because their sales manager is like, you better do it, and not actually following through the motion of like why they're doing it, right? Of just like, because once it leaves their desk from a commission perspective, they're not making $1 on any of the parts that they sell. So it's like, yeah, there's that. Okay, your car is ready, right? So it's so interesting to know that, like, again, Duncan, to your point, it's like if you can be able to show this person, be like, oh, by the way, there's zero pressure if you want to come back in a week, in a month. If you're like, oh, I can't remember what specific, like it's still there. Yeah. And it all exists.
Yeah. Yeah. Or even like, I can see it like where you're looking for mats on a like Silverado, for example. Yeah. It's like, oh, you have a Silverado this year? By the way, here's the trade value. Yeah. Just throw it at them. Yeah. You know? And then just literally just remarket them emails and stuff for them. Like, oh my God, Amazon got me a guaranteed trade value right now.
That's true. I'll take it. That gets really interesting really quickly.
Right. And then it's an interesting partnership for sure. I wonder, I guess, how the dealers are going to take it. But I mean, Volvo, I think, try to do something similar, or not Amazon, but they're trying to basically do something like all online. I think with the electric vehicles, they're doing that right now, the C40 and the XC40, I believe.
So your hot take on that? You worked at a dealership that's doing that. This is unbiased. Feedback from customers and feedback from sales reps. What is their dissonance?
Customers love it.
Why?
So, I mean, actually, no, I'm lying. It's 50-50 with the customers.
Why is that?
So I find a lot of the younger generation don't like the whole dealership haggle, or you're negotiating, you're sitting down and just like, oh, I got to spend hours, right? But, you know, you get to like an old Italian guy, you know, he loves it. This is part of the game. Yeah. Part of the hustle.
I'm going to send everybody I know. I'm going to refer you. Just to wrap this thing up with Amazon, because we're dealing with a bunch of philosophicals here today. You guys are, perhaps the quantum computing power of Amazon will solve the supply chain gaps in the industry with therefore. Okay, we'll move on. But yeah, interesting to know. This is not going away. My only last remark here is I always imagine the agnostic world of a vendor like Amazon when they get the second and the third. I come from Auto Trader, worked there for a while. Great people. But the one thing that they hold power over in any marketplace is they have the keys to drive a decision that is the right decision for the consumer, not the right decision for the brand. And that's kind of like a scary thing, right? Yeah. So like, cool, Hyundai's a part of it, right? I wonder if there's this exclusivity, right, where they're sharing data. It's like, we'll only be a part of it as long as these guys aren't. There's always this like, you're in or out. So it'd be really, this is interesting, but what's even more interesting, if these guys can crack the second nut with a different manufacturer with competing interests, that's where things get really interesting, in my opinion. Because now all of a sudden you have an actual ecosystem rather than just like a brand giving you what they want to give you and share. So that's it. That's my only play. Interesting.
Should I dig deeper into that?
Dig deep. Do it. Should do it. Let's see.
Give us more.
No, I forgot what I was going to say.
The conspiracy
I was ready
theory.
to dig deeper into that, but then it just slipped my mind.
Conspiracy theory. Okay, so is it true? So everybody says Walt Disney's frozen in Magic Mountain.
I heard he's frozen, but not.
Yeah, I've heard he's frozen as well, but not
sure about Magic Mountain.
Yeah.
That's where you got that from.
I thought he was frozen in Magic Mountain. The roller coaster goes around it, right? He's cryogenically frozen in Magic Mountain. I don't know if it's his head or his full body. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he did enough, no disrespect, I'm sure he did enough money to do whatever he wanted.
I'm sure he could do the full body package.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But do you think Jeff Bezos is going to do anything quirkier than that? Hypothetically, allegedly.
Like, is he going to freeze himself?
Well, that's
in an Amazon warehouse,
or in an Amazon warehouse in space or something. Yeah. Do you think?
I feel like when you get that kind of money, man, like you do it just for shits.
Interesting.
Just cause,
you know, like I feel like, I don't know. Not that I'm saying like Jeff Bezos is like a ego maniac. You know,
no, of course not. It's just
right? like I don't know him, but I feel like when you get to that kind of money, I guess depending on your religious beliefs.
But I don't think dude, there's not enough eccentric billionaire funerals. Or am I wrong in saying that? I'm not wishing anything upon anybody.
I don't know. Have you attended one? I've never.
I think there's a Rothschild that died recently, and just nothing was on the news. Nothing.
So what's that about? They have enough money to do something crazy.
It's all undercover, man. What's going on? These low key funerals, or.
But what's that about?
Are they getting frozen? Is that what's going on?
Right. Earth needs them. Look back.
Okay, so here's a question for you guys. Okay. You got a Billy.
Okay.
All right. And then you die.
Yeah.
Right. What is your funeral like?
You got to go with the police escort.
No. You have $1 billion.
I'm just saying.
You got a Billy to spend on your funeral.
Yeah. How are we doing it?
Police escort, they're going to be balling out.
No, but you're thinking too small.
I know.
You're thinking celebrity. You're a billionaire.
But this could just be the start. This could just be the start.
Appetizer.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I probably would do, those like massive mausoleum?
Yeah.
Just massive, just AC, everything just doped out.
Yeah.
How big?
Like the pyramids?
Like almost like a house. Like I think
you need to go bigger.
I think you need to go bigger, dude. You can't take it with you,
dude. You could build a pyramid.
To build a pyramid?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't know, man. I can't justify that. It's like, just imagine having a pyramid just filling in like a random park in Toronto or something. It's like, oh, this is where Zach's buried.
Yeah, exactly.
Where Toronto start.
That's sick.
There's got to be stranger things. Duncan, what would you do?
So this is going to sound dark, but I've had this conversation many times where if I found out I was going to die, right?
Okay.
Let's just say someone says, Duncan, you have a terminal disease.
There's the date.
Right? There's the date. You got 6 months.
Yeah.
Right? I think probably what I'm doing is I'm organizing just the most fantastic spectacle to
just end
to die, right? To end it off with a bang, right?
Okay.
So, for example, maybe I'm driving a car off a ramp into like a gorge or something. Explosions, fireworks going off, right?
That's great.
Televise the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you charge money to view the video, right? So you raise a ton of money from doing it.
That's a great idea.
Right? And then you just contribute that money to some noble cause or whatever.
You had to slide in the noble cause.
So Kim was away for 1 week. Like, Kim, this is how it goes. This is how it ends.
Yeah. She knows. It's in my will. She knows.
Well, like, the thing is, everybody knows. Our listeners, by the way, it's no longer an automotive podcast. The cover is blown. The whole thing was we're psychos. But the Batman quote, you die a hero, or maybe it's Batman, right? Or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you guys are describing is still very vanilla to me, because I think about like Mr. Beast. Eventually, I feel like that quote is going to apply to him.
Really?
You live long enough to see yourself become a villain. And so eventually it's because all these famous people, they just disappear, because eventually nobody will end up liking you, because they'll find a reason to be like, eat the rich.
Yeah.
It's like, well, there's like thousands and millions of jobs that have been created and economies that have been benefited, but that's fine. So like, point being is, I feel like somebody's going to realize Mr. Beast has got it going on. There's going to be a bunch of these Emiratis. They're not doing it right. right? If they Mr. Beast it, those guys are the ones that are going to die the villains. Can you imagine? So for example, like Rio de Janeiro, the statue, somebody's like, you know what? We're going to pour a concrete statue twice as big as Jesus, and it's going to be me as like, you know, just with my, you know, hands on hips and all, like a superhero pose
on the top of a mountain peak.
Yeah. So like there's Jesus in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. And then there's some Brazilian billionaire who's like,
it's twice
but
as
who
big.
helped? Yeah, who helped Brazilians more? Right? Like that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Like what Mount Rushmore? We just decided 4 faces were enough.
How about 5? Maybe me.
You can squeeze in one more.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like everything has a price in this world.
So is it
like you could probably like negotiate something?
So is it illegal to like carve your face in a Mount Rushmore? At what point does it become vandalism and turn into art?
Dude, what? You can just buy the mountain.
Can you buy a mountain?
Think about it though. Like you can buy islands.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you can buy a mountain. Someone's selling it.
Do you think at a certain point when people
find money? If you find a state that's like, you know, broke or they haven't like, you know, not getting no tax revenue, right? They'll sell it to you.
You buy it.
Yeah. They don't care.
And then eventually, like all things, people will be like, I don't need a mountain full time. I'll subscribe to one. By the way, we're Roam Car Subscriptions. We have car subscriptions. We provide to businesses and consumers all across the GTA. We are an automotive company.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. So anyways, we do that. But anyways, yeah. So I don't know where I was going with that. Amazon, I was just thinking about that a couple of days ago.
I do like the idea of subscribing to like a statue or something, right? Like you can subscribe to have your likeness in this space.
Yeah.
As soon as you stop paying, we take it down.
It's holographically projected.
Right? That is kind of funny, actually. Like because the price would just get ratcheted up, right? Imagine you could buy statue space in Yonge Dundas Square.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so like the first guy goes in at, I don't know, maybe you're selling it for like $1,000 a day or something. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. And then it's going to become a meme and everybody's going to be like, oh, this is so funny. And then it's just going to ratchet up. Right. More and more people coming in. I'll pay $2,000 a day. Mm-hmm.
And then you crowdsource it and somebody's like, I'm starting a fund where everybody puts $1 and we all get a pixel on the statue. And then it's time sharing the statue. That Yonge and Dundas crosswalk, automotive podcast, is that the only 4-way crosswalk in Toronto? Does anybody know?
I feel like it's the only one. I mean,
that's the only one I know about.
Yeah.
I think that's the only one.
So interesting.
For cars,
right? Anyways, okay, back to the story here. We pulled up a list. These are the greenest cars in 2024 ranking. So here's the thing. This looks like it was a source quoted by a source quoted by a source. Okay, so basically they highlighted the 12 top scoring models this year. A variety of scoring criteria was used. Average cost of fuel was basically kind of the biggest factor here. So from the top, which is really interesting, non-Tesla. So clearly there's a bone to pick. But this is weird to me because I don't quite understand. Like estimated annual fuel cost. I'm gonna go on a limb here and assume that this was like the fuel cost that they were using, annual cost from gasoline and electricity or combination. This was basically like also converted to like wattage, the price of like fueling the range for your car on an electrical grid, probably at home, right? So anyways, long story short here, the Toyota Prius Prime full electric or plug-in hybrid, interesting, was the cheapest against full EV cars. That is super interesting. So one reason I want to pull this up.
Very interesting.
I don't know.
What's weird is like you have the Mini Cooper EV. There's like no way, man.
So this is just somebody who wanted some clicks, maybe. I don't know.
The math just doesn't make sense.
No, exactly.
Someone has beef with Elon.
That's what I'm saying. So to calculate the score, they evaluate each model, its cost to human health from air pollution associated with vehicles, tailpipe emissions, and on that basis, they scored to more than 1,200 model year 2024 cars fueled solely by gasoline, diesel, fueled hybrids, electric motors, plug-in hybrids, or powered by both. So I'm trying to understand here. Lowest fueling cost because of their higher efficiency. Regardless of the data being right, because the one thing that we know for fact on the internet, the comments will always just help you find the truth. Mm-hmm. So we don't have to be right. But anyways, like we were talking about this last week, Duncan, Zach, and I, like hybrids by far our customers love. Like if you have an electric car, totally fine. It's great. They serve their niche. But like hybrids, bar none, are so much more loved by people in terms of like the ability to get that car and factor in the fuel savings without paying a total premium that EVs kind of carry right now. So
okay, so here's a question about hybrids.
Okay.
Right? Do you think, so first of all, why do you think that is, right? Is it because people assume, like basically I'm getting a platform I'm comfortable with, right? Because it's in a pinch, I can go put gas in it, right? I'm not worried about this range anxiety or like, am I going to be able to find a charger if I go fully EV? And there's a presumption of cost savings on the fuel side. But do you think that these customers actually have any sense of what the cost savings actually are over a year?
It's so tough, man,
right,
to predict. I don't know, because like the price of gas constantly fluxes. Price of electricity, if you need to go to like a flow or a charge point or a remote charging station, you don't know kind of what your driving needs may turn out to become, right? So I don't know. It's just interesting. Like this list is completely diversified. God knows everybody's making an EV or a hybrid right now, but regardless of the information, it's just kind of interesting to always bring this up into the conversation that like there's a lot of like no man's land here between the Nissan Leafs and, you know, Mini Coopers and Lexus RZs, like not very common cars compared to like Priuses. We know that's like a staple. Like Toyota's just nailed it. And if you look at it, Toyota, plug-in hybrid, gas hybrid, gas hybrid.
Their bet paid off. Like they said, we're not going to go EV, right?
And it made so much more sense,
right? Like,
because they can just provide more cars that are available to folks that want to get fuel savings. And again, we have hybrids all across our fleet, which is super interesting. We have both hybrids and EVs. We also make an effort to be, we contribute to a bunch of different causes to make sure that we're making a great impact across our fleet. You know, we always try and balance it out, but interesting enough, like obviously new cars have a bunch of features now to reduce fuel, start stop ignitions on fuel lights. Oh my gosh. And just driver features to just kind of gamify the driving experience. The one thing I'll say though is probably the most fun hybrid car to drive is the Toyotas, because they give you that range and they give you a driver score out of 100. Acceleration, braking, and then like what the middle of just like driving.
They gamify it, right?
It's so fun.
You're trying to beat the score.
Exactly.
I can do better.
And I just drive like a grandma. It's the weirdest thing. It's so weird how you can just encourage good behavior by leaderboards.
What's crazy though, I don't know if you saw this, there's an article that came out last week that said a Tesla Model Y generates more emissions than a Kia hybrid, for example. In terms of like the whole aggregate gross. And it's not really like the battery, like all that aside, they're talking about like the tire is degenerating like a lot faster. And so they're saying tire pollution, like you're putting more particulate tire material in the air and stuff like that, right? And so because I don't know if you guys know, but Teslas or any EV in general, like way heavier than any gas vehicle, right? So you're burning through tires like way faster, right? And so the tires, as they burn, you're putting these particulates in the air, and now apparently that's something you should be worried about. I didn't even know like that was a thing. Right? Like now, like, oh, tire pollution is a thing now where you're buying more tires, I'm guessing. That's one part of it, but also like there's particulates go in the air. Tire particulates go in the air. And I think we're getting to a point now where I guess this could be big gas, by the way. Okay. Big gas. This could be big oil and gas industry. Big oil. Spreading these articles, but they're saying, oh, cars are getting to a point now that like the emissions are just like almost near zero. Like the mufflers and stuff has like barely nothing coming out of it. Right. And then you see it with all the new vehicles, like they have like the tailpipes that are like turned down a little bit. Right. So they don't go straight. Like you'll get like a Ford Explorer, like ST, and like it'll have it turned down. Like it's so weird. On the Audis, all that stuff, it's so super weird, right? And they do it for a reason, just to bring their emissions down and stuff like that, right? Yeah, like obviously all these cars, all the manufacturers have fleets where they have these emissions goals, and they plug all these electric cars into them. But it always seems to be that they basically have a couple EVs that are just solely to bring down the average emissions, and like then the rest of their cars are just totally normal, which is so interesting. And they have like no hybrid options. It's just like one EV or two EVs and then that's it. And then they make fake quotas about like how much they're going to sell, because everybody knows the supply chain is like really hard. It's not the manufacturers are being mischievous about it. It's just like really hard to produce EVs to the market demand, to a cost that makes sense. Like, you're selling less, you have to put in the luxury because all of them are considered. So going back to Toyota, man, and like
they're literally one of the only manufacturers that you can get a hybrid on almost any model that they have.
Yeah.
Corolla, Camry, RAV4, Venza, Highlander, Sienna. Every single model they have basically is a hybrid, which is so cool. Like they're actually walking the walk, which I think is really interesting rather than just, we have some gas cars and we have some pure EVs to just weight the average. Yeah. Which is so interesting. So anyways, talking point here, electric cars to some, if you guys just like tuned into the billionaire thing and now we're talking about hybrids, I'm sorry we're teasing you because we totally shifted gears. But this is one that I wanted to talk about. Really interesting. So everybody knows it was a couple months back, and it was a BMW thing with heated seats, and it was on a subscription, and then that got shot down really fast. Yeah. So interestingly enough, this article says the new Audi A3 that's going to be launched only in Europe. Some of the features are behind a paywall subscription. So the features that are super interesting that I thought is like, okay, here we go. And this is one of those things that we get into this territory of like, we're Rome car subscriptions, but like we're not charging people subscriptions on like all the hate for heated seats and stuff like that. But basically the one thing that's crazy to me, adaptive cruise control, dual zone climate, access to like infotainment with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Crazy. It's
Apple CarPlay.
Right. And so
you get an Apple CarPlay in like a Chevy Spark.
It doesn't cost them anything.
Right? Like it's already there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of is you ever go to a hotel and you're trying to get on the internet and they're like, it's $14 a day for the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it is fucking 2024.
Yeah.
What are we doing? You can charge me for other shit. Yeah. Right. But like, that's such an easy thing to just provide people for free.
Yeah.
Right. And anyways, so I feel like, the more that car companies are playing around with this stuff where it's like, they're forcing you to subscribe to something that just should be included. It's silly.
I mean, especially like when you get into a territory of like something German, like an Audi, and now you have to subscribe to Apple CarPlay. Like that's just like, you're really pushing it.
Yeah.
You're still, you're spending like, at least $50,000, $60,000 for like a base model A3, right?
Yeah.
And, by the way, don't forget to subscribe for your heated seats.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, the sales guy just throws the keys at you.
Exactly.
Have a good day.
Yeah, exactly. Like you, to your point, you're spending all this money on this car, and then you've got to fucking subscribe to some basic feature.
It's so
idiotic.
It's so interesting though, because like the way that manufacturers are probably looking at this play, I think the boogeyman is that when people go electric cars, the concern is that eventually maintenance becomes like a non-issue. Like the back end, like the variable cost of maintaining those vehicles is so much lower. You just basically have to do the brakes and tires. Like internally, there's not really much more complication there. But I think the interesting thing is like manufacturers are teasing these ideas, start to figure out like, how are they going to continue making money if now all of a sudden they have no work? Like you're going to kill an entire industry. And like, granted, I think the stats, I'm going to absolutely murder this, but like 2040, 2050, I think the numbers was still like 60%, 70% of cars on the road are still going to be ICE, like gas cars. So it's not going to go away. But the problem is all these new cars that they're going to sell are theoretically going to last like twice as long. Yep. Like people aren't going to blink for the fact that eventually somebody's going to figure out you can swap parts or modules in a car, you can change batteries, there's going to be environmental pressure to do so. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's going to be like, hey, by the way, you need to subscribe to these features now because manufacturers are going to be realizing the dealerships are going to be selling these cars 4 or 5 times. Like the useful life of a vehicle basically will get set on a used lot as like a CPO, like a flagship dealer. And then once it hits over like 100,000 K, it's like, okay, now you send it to like a B lot. And then everything over like 150, you're like, okay, it's Bob's Motors, buy here, pay here, right? But if you take an EV at 150,000 kilometers, it's still going to be a new car. They're still going to be updating this stuff. It's kind of crazy. So it's like the subscription take, in my opinion, is just like totally geared towards like finding how they're going to continue to make money like years after, knowing that the manufacturer is losing, the manufacturer knowing they're losing out, the dealers are just going to keep flipping it for profit. Yeah. So how do they gatekeep? Well, we're still going to get our skin in the game for $30 a month. Yeah. That's where that comes from, right? Interesting though.
Yeah.
So sorry guys, I'm just, ignore the computer. Nothing's going on in the computer. I'm just doing a little bit of reconnaissance here. We'll clip this part out behind the scenes. We're curating.
Behind the scenes at Rome. We're about to go repossess a vehicle.
Exactly. For the right reasons though.
Yes.
No, everything is good. Everything is great. So anyways, yeah, the subscription piece, totally interesting. Not going to come to the US because of the South Park episode. They took our jobs, right?
It's interesting though. They tested it out. They're going to test it out in Europe where like they protest about anything.
Yeah.
Gas goes up 5 cents. It's like done. Like they're rioting, especially France.
Well, have you seen the farmer protests?
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty
I think they're doing the farmer protests in Germany too, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they protesting about?
I think they're getting rid of like tax credits for them.
Man, it's interesting. I don't know how that's going to end.
And they're like just spraying manure over like the parliament, all that shit. Like,
see, that's what you don't want.
It's pretty, but like it goes into like, and this is a car podcast.
You thought
we have to constantly preface that this is a car podcast.
This is a
By the way, aliens, yeah,
you know, shout out to Rome. you know, such an easy way of getting a car. But what I love about like, oh, dude, you go to Europe, man. Like they actually anything that bothers them as a country,
they fight about.
They're fighting about
French resistance.
Like, dude, what we were doing, what happened when gas was like 220, 230? Nothing.
Yeah.
People's like, oh, damn, gas is a little bit more expensive. You know, but as Canadians, like we didn't go.
There's no riots or anything.
There's no riots. Like they gas goes up for like 5-10 cents. They're done. Bread goes up.
They're
the price of bread, a baguette. If a baguette goes more than 10 cents higher, it's like, what is going on?
Yeah, this
country just going to shit.
Well, man, I saw recently through Ireland, there's a ton of action going on with these guys protesting against like accepting like immigrants, refugees, migrants, you know, all that jazz that's going on everywhere in the world right now. But these guys are like, we're losing our culture identity.
Yeah.
And like to an extent, like I totally get that. But yeah, it's totally true. Like in you know, North America, it's like, it's almost like geographically, it's like somehow with people spread farther apart, like humans, like just kind of like it becomes, I don't know, because like digitally though, that's not even a good reason because everybody's connected. Yeah, we all like are having the same conversation. It's not like we're talking less than Europeans.
Yeah.
So yeah, what is it about us? What is it about Canadians specifically? Because I feel like Americans are more, you know, if they're not liking what's going on, right, they're more vocal, more out there protesting.
Yeah,
I feel like it takes a lot to get Canadians energized to the point where they're taking action.
Is that why our politics are boring?
We can't save that one, or we have to save that one. We can't talk about that one.
Nissan GTR is
wait, no, let's before we talk about that, tell us about CES, Zach. There's something going on with ChatGPT.
Yeah, so pretty interesting. Volkswagen, I think Q3, what they want to do is they want to integrate ChatGPT into their voice assistant called Ida.
Okay.
Right? Q3 this year.
Q3 this year, 2024 models, right?
Okay.
And so I think it's just going to be like an over-the-air update kind of thing. And so what's a little bit weird about it is like they're just going to, you can ask, oh, can you turn on the radio or turn on the heat? Like this is stuff in a lot of vehicles already have this. Unless I can, you know, ask, you know, Ida a hypothetical question.
Right.
Like
there's a train.
Why aren't Canadians protesting?
Right.
There's a car that's crossing an intersection and you can run over 2 people or 5, Ida.
Yeah, exactly.
How do I make this decision now?
If you're gonna you have a choice between hitting a child or killing me.
Yeah.
What's it gonna be, Ida?
Yeah.
You wonder, like the thing I wonder about is like, where are they gonna cap, to your point, where are they gonna cap it? Is it like, because at some point you're going to start asking, you know, more questions that are getting further away from just the purpose of the car, right? Like turn the heat on, whatever.
It's going to become sentient, become your friend.
Right.
You might even have a like, you know, an old lonely guy or woman.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's like, oh, hi, Ida, good morning. You know, and like every day that's her routine.
Where are you going
What's the
today,
weather?
Steve?
How are you? And like, yeah, I'm just going to this coffee shop. It's like, oh, I enjoy your coffee. Like imagine just having like a full conversation with you.
That's what I'm saying.
That's pretty trippy.
Right.
I'm glad you chose me instead of bringing your wife along, Steve. I enjoy your company so much.
Have you ever seen that show on TLC?
Steve, by the way, in order to continue your premium Ida subscription, I require more credits. that manufacturer's got him. They got
him. That's it. He's lonely. He needs
yeah.
Subscribe.
He doesn't yell at him.
Yeah. Well, I have one ring when you can have 4 Audi. I'm telling you.
Have you seen that? I think it was a TLC show where it was people falling in love with like just bizarre inanimate objects, right? So like one person fell in love with it was like a merry-go-round or something, and then there was another guy who was in love with his car.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
But
I know exactly what you're
the point is, like, we're going to see more of that, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
We're like, well, I can't probably talk about it here.
Okay, Zach, you talk. Just say it, because I got to get this point out. Say what you got to say.
People are already doing it.
How?
Right? Like,
they are.
You know, robots or stuff like that. I think there's a guy that married like a doll, right?
Guys and dolls.
Yeah.
Doll.
Doll, right? Just
Doll.
that kind of doll, right?
Yeah.
And like literally just like fell in love. Like it's crazy though. I think Japan like is super into that kind of stuff.
You think it was Japan?
Yeah. No. The one I saw was some guy in the Americas about that. But in Japan though, I think they have like an issue where like people are like super lonely and stuff like that in general.
Yeah.
And
why are you whispering that?
People are super
It's going to stay a problem if you're ashamed. People are lonely.
People are lonely.
You just say
and like dudes are just getting, like they're getting married to dolls.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is like, what happened to a pet?
I love the art because we could go talk about the guys with the HOV lanes that have their dolls and they're like, well, technically she's my wife. So technically you can't take me, officer. But anyways, the one thing that kills me all the time, I don't know why it hasn't made more of a thing, but the proximity chat. Can you imagine if like
proximity chat in real life?
Just proximity chat in real life with your car. If you could proximity chat other cars and like, how you airdrop things to people, like your Volkswagen airdrops to the other one.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like you create profiles for yourself and like avatars for yourself. And people are like, at Tesla, you can interface like races or something, but instead like Toyota, it's like you're now in a competition with this guy next to you to see who can be more economical. Go from the light.
It's just like it's like a truck. It's like once two trucks
do you accept
two lanes. It's like not moving.
Nobody's winning. But it's just like you accept these challenges and they're like, anti-road rage technology, right? But then you can imagine too if it's just like, Ida, that guy just cut me off. Help me come up with a comeback. He's driving a Volkswagen. He's got a shaggy beard and just like ChatGPT, help me out, man. Defend me. I don't know. I feel like I would love to see that. I don't have anything else to say.
Like imagine like your kid can probably hop in the car and be like, hey, help me do my homework.
That's what I'm saying.
For sure.
Like
where does it end?
Where does it really end?
Yeah.
And do you need a premium subscription for all the features?
Right.
That's true, man.
Right? If you need homework help or anything theoretical, need help with the email.
But BetterHelp is going to
$10.99 Patreon.
Yeah, they're going to sponsor with Volkswagen.
Yeah,
they're going to be like, we're the only company that uses Apple CarPlay to monitor your heart rate. To get the computer, hey, notice you're going a little fast. Is everything okay? Right. Just a co-pilot.
So digitally
assessing
here's
your
a
vitals.
question. Okay, here's a question.
Okay,
because so ChatGPT, right? They're going to integrate it in this car.
Yes.
They're going to start integrating it into everything.
Okay.
Right? It's going to be in your fridge, your toaster, right?
For sure.
So the question is, which inanimate object is super intelligence going to come out of, right? Is it going to be like, is a toaster going to become some like crazy overlord, right?
That's true.
Could it be a toaster?
It's going to be like
maybe it's like someone's fridge, a toothbrush.
Something gets fed up.
Right.
A fridge could be like, man, you've had this sauce in me for ages. You don't clean me. You're always ordering Uber Eats. You don't appreciate me.
I'm stinky.
you don't wash me. I'm taking over the world. That's true. Then your fridge becomes sentient. It starts like, the wife's, what do they call those Black Widows, these shows? And the wife's got a little bit of arsenic and cyanide every meal, slowly dosing the husband to death.
Yeah.
The fridge is just like 3 hours a day. It grows a specific kind of mold. Right? It's just all of your food and hospitalizes you.
Slowly
kills you. Samsung's like, man, we didn't know. We had no idea. That guy was fired. Fridges should have wheels, though.
They have these little baby wheels.
They should.
right? It's
Most of them don't, bro.
They're like the little like sliding wheels.
Yeah, but like fridges need autonomous driving technology. With
just like come to your room, just like
you connect your Apple Watch, you bump it. It's just like, yeah, I think you'll be thirsty in like 35 minutes. Let me bring you a Sprite.
Yeah,
right. Just fucking bumps over.
Yeah, but it would be cool though. Imagine you just like take something out of the fridge and it like adds the calories right to your watch.
That's true.
To your phone, like that'd be crazy.
Well, dude, in Las Vegas, the hotel rooms, as soon as you take something off, it knows the weight of everything.
No way.
And it knows what to charge you. Yeah. Because a candy bar weighs in at 85 grams, you know, a can of pop or whatever weighs at like 150.
Yeah.
So hypothetically,
deducted right away. You get a bill for it at the end of your at the end of your checkout. I remember.
It's like they give you like a buffer. It's like, you know, 20 seconds or something. Mm-hmm. They tell you what it is, but yeah. As soon as it's off the thing.
So even if I put it back after 20 seconds,
you're charged.
Dude, I remember.
No way.
Yeah. This was like four years ago. I went to Vegas and of course you got to inventory your mini fridge, right? You got to check it. You got to make sure is it fully stocked. I took everything out. I remember all of a sudden, like when we're checking out, they're like, yeah, by the way, it's only like $400 for room service. I'm like, what? Talking about, man? I don't get grossed like that. They're like, no, you took everything out of the mini fridge. I'm like, oh no, there's been a mistake. Like I did not consume that. I know better. Yeah. I walked to the CVS. Yeah. Scouts Honor. Go check it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Did they refund you?
Of course, man.
It's like, I'm not getting gross.
Of course.
Context is Nick does not like buying drinks anywhere.
No. Would you like a pop? No. Would you like to make it a combo? No. Pull out my Ziploc bag. I brought everything I need from home.
I brought my Coke in this Ziploc bag.
Just puncture with a straw like those guys in the Philippines and Indonesia. They have a bag of like coconut juice. Yeah. After they just macheted it and they're like, bam! It's like they're piercing the heart of a vampire with a steak and it's just a bag of coconut juice. Yeah. Anyways, okay, so Zach, interesting chat. Gypta. This is not going to be the first or the last time we talk about this. Duncan is dialed in to ChatGPT, so he's our resident expert on this.
That's right.
Yeah. You got a premium version?
I'm using it for everything.
Can't go wrong with it.
Literally everything.
Everything. It is, yeah, super helpful. So Zach, you were what do they call it? The facilitator? There's an academic word for it.
I brought this up. I think this is a very important topic.
You did bring it up. Yeah.
So Nissan GTR.
Okay.
Childhood dream car.
For you?
For me.
Cool.
Right? After the Porsche Panamera, of course. Okay. Finally ending, which I'm kind of disappointed, but at the same time, not really.
Okay.
Because I think it did go on for too long. Nothing was changed. Nothing was updated. It's the same engine. Basically the same looks.
Impossible to sell.
It's crazy because like I think now they're like 130 grand.
Right? What? That's it? No, it's got to be like 180, dude. It's got to be 130.
I don't think they're 180. No,
Zach,
maybe like a.
Do you want me to?
Maybe like a last call. Don't bring out some last call features.
No, right? It's got to be $180 Canadian.
No way. I don't think so.
Canada.
So back in the day, like they were like 80 G's, brand new MSRP, right? Which is a pretty good bang for buck.
Never ever.
No way's $180.
Damn.
Never ever question me on pricing of cars.
$180 though.
Yeah.
And that's base starting at, right? So you can probably load this thing up to probably like 200 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Am I getting a Nissan GTR or am I getting a 911?
For 200K?
200K.
Use the 911.
You're getting a 911.
Yeah.
Right? Like they went too far. Like these things back in the day were like around 80-ish, 90. And then they just started ticking up. Now they're just, and it's the same engine, same interior, nothing really changed. They've recently probably just added Apple CarPlay maybe a year or 2 years ago.
It's crazy. Yeah. Right?
Nissan, like they have this thing, man, where like, I love the brand and they're doing pretty cool things now with like the new Rogue. You saw it.
Dude, like our new Nissans, the safety features that come standard, it's kind of shocking.
Yeah. Amazing. And then like the whole redesign, like they're taking a whole different direction.
It's super nice, right? The product that they have.
Rogue
we got
nice.
Some really happy customers in our Nissans.
Oh yeah. Sure. The moonroof. Oh, amazing. Right. Heated seats, heated steering, like everything you can imagine.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's an interesting, they're taking an amazing direction with the brand right now. They have the Sentras, the Rogue. But what sucked previously though is like they would have the same vehicle, same look for years.
They don't touch it. They don't touch the platform at all.
So look at the Q50 Infinity.
Dude, Infinity's 100%.
Right? Like the Q50 Infinity.
QX80, dude.
Was first made, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 2015.
Yep.
Right? Exact same vehicle today, 2024.
Same platform, same
platform, same thing. And like and it's a luxury vehicle, so they're asking for like almost 60,000.
Yeah. So
plus.
The only interesting thing to me is like obviously there's an extreme like new car market for Porsche. That's like you're the top of your professional craft. You've done it. Nissan GTRs are a complete like used car market. It's just like the guys who are grabbing those are grabbing them at like the 60 to 80K range used, getting a couple year old model. Those are the ones you see on the road. You don't see new ones on the road.
No.
Nobody's buying them.
No.
Or they're exporting them. They got to just be exporting them. That's where they're going. So right?
It doesn't make sense to like, dude, I would rather get a used one for 80K.
100%.
The moment I take that off the dealership for 200K, I know it's dropping like a rock.
100%. You lose probably like 70K overnight. That's why we don't have any in our fleet, guys. We only make good choices on inventory, Roam car subscription. Subscribe to any vehicle for 1 month or longer. Get great savings.
And you don't have to deal with the residual debt values, right? You don't lose value.
That's exactly it.
You don't have to pay for service.
No, mobile maintenance.
Yeah.
Right? Just gas it.
Insurance options.
Included.
Ton included.
Fantastic.
Make it simple.
Yeah.
By the way, the tagline, legends never sleep. What do you think that means?
Japanese translation. It's got to be.
Yeah. What does that mean?
A butcher Japanese.
Legends never sleep. Right?
When did this come out? 2008? Maybe
legends never die.
2009. When did the GTR? Can you just check when the GTR came out? So it should be legends never die.
So
that's
until now.
That feels very Bond like. Legends never die.
Yeah.
That actually could be like a Bond movie title. Legends never die.
The new version 2008. Yeah, 2009. Yeah, North America in March.
Yeah, the R30, R35, I think.
So Duncan, that's funny you say that. The only thing I can think of, I've been in a GTR. Some dude absolutely tuned the hell out of it. It was like 1,000 horsepower. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was insane. Like the feeling of being on a roller coaster is like the feeling in that car. But like the whole thing is these guys will buy it for like 70K and just tune this thing up to nobody's business to like 1,000 horsepower. And it becomes a sleeper.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's an allusion to like build a sleeper.
Okay.
Nobody sees, like, obviously if anybody knows what kind of car this is, they know it goes fast. But like you can buy, like, again, you can buy one of these used, and these are like Nissan, the whole Skyline thing, like from Fast and Furious, is all about these sleeper cars.
Shout out Paul Walker.
Yeah.
Right?
One time.
Yeah. One time for the one time.
Exactly.
RIP.
But that was the whole thing. It was like,
bro,
when he started that race, he was in like he was in a muscle car. Maybe it was a Tokyo Drift where they got in the Nissan seat.
Yeah, I think it was the Supra. I think
it was a Supra. Yeah. But like, yeah. So originally it was in the Supra. But like when he got into, I think the whole Nissan thing, it's like, yeah, it's just like people started realizing they could get these old Nissans and like whatever way the engines or transmissions were built, he could tune these things up into sleepers. I'm completely talking out of my bum here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But like people, even like the old one, it's past 25 years now.
Yeah.
Right? So everyone's buying like the old, like the Paul Walker ones.
Yeah.
Right. The 1995 to 96, whatever. I think the R33s, I think.
Dude, you asked me like I know.
Dude, they just tune it up like crazy.
Yeah.
And
so maybe that's it. I don't know. Maybe that's it.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe that's
Nissan intelligent
every GTR that I've actually seen though.
Yeah.
Is like these guys just tune it up 1,000 horsepower, just like all-wheel drive track monster,
and just wait for it to explode, basically.
Yeah, there's guys on YouTube. I think they got it up to like 2,000-3,000 horsepower.
Yeah,
like it's nuts.
It's kind of crazy,
right? But like, money though,
3,000 horsepower.
3,000 horsepower, man.
What?
But you know what they're doing though is nitrous, right? Do
we have nitrous subscriptions in any of our cars?
Coming soon.
That's a feature that is coming soon.
Coming soon.
I don't know, officer. It's not my car.
And once again,
that's how you get away with it, guys.
We also have
I don't know who put that in there.
We also can hook you up with a speeding ticket lawyer, a traffic lawyer. Just it's a full subscription experience.
The Fast and the Furious experience.
Everything.
The package. The Fast and the Furious package. You can add that on to your subscription.
Yeah.
But like for 200K, man, like honestly, like, you got to get a Porsche. It's comfortable. You can daily it, right? Like,
also, I don't know enough about the quality of Nissan manufacturing construction, right? Like, what's the quality of a Nissan GTR to Porsche?
I don't know.
But you know what the Germans do?
What do they do?
They build good shit.
They get it done.
They get it done.
They get it done.
So it's probably a lot quieter.
So right. I messed up. Okay. I do something called shawarmanomics. It follows me everywhere I go. I say, do I want it, or do I want the equivalent of shawarmas that could afford me for the same price tag? By my math, I could get a GTR or 25,000 shawarmas. right? Like it's kind of one of those things where it's just like
how many? So okay, 25,000 shawarmas divided by 365. How many years of shawarmas per day?
Yeah, okay, divided by 365. That's a lifetime of shawarma.
That's a lifetime.
68 years. Round so close to 69. So close.
I just needed that. Now I'm gonna just get the GTR.
Exactly. So like, first of all, I could eat shawarmas until I hit a century. And I would be the only guy doing it like that. The century shawarma challenge.
You know what? I love it. So what's the price of a shawarma? What do you?
I think I put in 850.
850?
Because I'm not getting grossed. No.
Okay, so let's say
to go for the 850s.
Yeah.
850. Right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So if you were to buy a $1 million home in the GTA or get shawarmas, right? You could have 117,000 shawarmas.
How many years is that, dude?
That's 330 years of shawarma.
That's like basically 4 lifetimes.
So
that's intergenerational shawarma.
So buy a home.
Yeah.
Or feed my great grandchildren shawarmas. I'm gonna take care of my grandchildren.
Feed your family.
I'm gonna feed them shawarmas
forever.
Technically, we can live anywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
What's the bottom of human pyramid? Is it sleep or food? What's the first foundational thing that people need? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Is he still right after all this time?
I mean, like conceptually, I think he was close.
Let's pull that up. Hold on, let's pull it up.
Conceptually, I think he was close.
Okay, what? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Thanks, Google. Autocorrect. Not sponsored, but thank you. Okay, physiological needs. So yeah, breathing, food, water, shelter, clothing, sleep. So I would like to break this down. So car podcast, nope, we're bringing a psychologist in. We're going to talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And we're going to break down and be like, dude, the bottom layer of that pyramid, physiologically, what's actually more important? Because technically, somebody can go live in the forest without a house, Zach. Mm-hmm. But imagine you're getting, the Uber Eats guy shows up to the wilderness on his bike once a day and he drops off your meal. You're going to live out there for forever. But you don't need shelter.
But the thing is, though, they're making you fight for it right now. Breathing or food.
Okay, we're going to assume we're going to keep breathing.
Okay, is that included?
Breathing is free.
You need it.
Breathing is free.
Okay.
Water is free. Shelter is not free. Food is not free.
Dude, you just get the food, have them come out to the forest.
Exactly.
Right, a provincial park, you know. Our taxes paid for it.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're chilling. As long as you have food, that's all you need.
Provincial parks, true.
Right?
Yep.
Just wing it up.
Everything else is pretty easy to get.
Yeah.
Right?
Eventually, you have enough.
He could be like those YouTube guys who build homes in the jungles.
Yeah. In Indonesia.
And out of like clay and stuff like that.
Here's the thing that nobody's talking about.
Yeah.
So technically speaking, so a Porv, we love you. You love fresh. It's a vegan place that does food. The joke is always there's fresh bags all over the office because everybody gets fresh. They're all disposable. They're all recyclable. But technically speaking, you could eventually build a home out of what you're getting from the food. Like if you get enough shawarma wrappers and bags, you eventually make it into some kind of primitive form of
clothing. Also, maybe
clothing. Yeah, just caveman garb. It just says.
Yeah, I mean, with the clothing, maybe you're at like 15 shawarmas. That's all you need. Maybe 20.
Truthfully, yeah. And then like it gets colder, just.
Order another 20.
Well, those little those tinfoil wrappings, I feel like that's
thermo,
thermo, right?
Yeah.
That looks like those emergency blankets you get.
Exactly.
It's basically a giant shawarma wrapper.
Yeah. So technically speaking, if you wanted to Big Bang happens, everything goes to nothing. Thanos snaps his thumbs.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you got to build society back up. Listen, Thanos, I'll take my time. We'll go with one shawarma a day. We'll start there. There's Bidenomics. There's Obamanomics. There's shawarmanomics. Right? Technically, the people I think every day of the week are going to choose shawarmanomics. It's literally never wrong.
It can let you down.
So anyways,
never let you down.
You want a Porsche? I want 69 years of shawarmas. Duncan, do you have any unit? The marginal utility. I remember I had a professor in U of T, Professor Ho.
What would I trade? So
the marginal utility.
It's this GTR or so what am I getting for the $200,000? Right?
Whatever you want. Yeah. In terms of economics, give us something that you could be like, yeah, I could use that every day.
I mean, the food one is just such an obvious choice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then there you go. So then basically pick any meal. Duncan's going to pick like a $14 meal. You know, it's got to be healthier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't matter. Duncan's got 35 years.
Maybe like a really nice cold pressed juice.
There you go, every day. That's a great idea.
You know, I really thought you'd go for the farm boy.
Farm boy chicken. Maybe a farm boy chicken.
That should be his economics, eh? How much farm boy chickens can I get?
Dude, I should try and get sponsored by Farm Boy.
Yeah, so guys, we don't need a sponsor, but we're open to anything.
Shout out Farm Boy.
Farm Boy, I eat a lot of your chickens.
That's it. Yeah, that costs us real money. So with that, I think it's a perfect way to end our automotive podcast. So guys, I think this was a longer one. This was a lot of fun. We're going to be bringing in, no doubt at all, we're going to be bringing in some more educated people. We talked about a bunch of... Thanks, Duncan, for coming today.
We're going to actually talk about cars.
But we're going to bring in some more educated people.
No, that was not a shot at Duncan. We think Duncan's an educated guy, but I think what we'll do is we'll bring in more people, industry experts. It would be so interesting to bring a guy in from Nissan, just shoot, you know, the conversation about what are the safety features, what are you guys doing, what are you working on, all this cool stuff. And bottom line, we're going to riff out to things that don't belong, but we're going to publish them anyways. So with that, who wants to sign off?
Go for it, man.
Okay, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Episode number 2. Hopefully if it airs. I think we're good on this one. Not a lot of swearing. Yeah, that's it. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. And you'll see the clips online. If you like it, just share it. We appreciate all the love. Thanks.
Thank you.